Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for taking time to listening in to today's event with Forefront and Hashicorp. My name is Daniel Axelsson. I work as an enterprise account manager here at Hashicorp. With me today, I also have Erkan, who is a solutions engineer, and he will be covering the technical bits and pieces of Vault for you to really get an understanding of what Vault is capable of. So I want to start off by thanking you for taking the time today. This is a pre-recorded session, so we'll be taking a live Q&A at the end of this after Erkan is done, and we will be joining in live. The agenda for today is pretty basic. We'll be explaining what Vault is, how Vault addresses today's security threats, some customer success stories. We'll be speaking about the differences between Vault Open Source and Vault Enterprise, some common use cases in 2020, and then, like I said, end off with a Q&A. Before that, I want to speak a little bit about who Hashicorp is. Hashicorp is the leading cloud infrastructure automation company. We were founded in 2012. We employ just north over 1,000 people at this point, and we have a funding to date of $349 million. On the right-hand side, you can see the 6 products that we have. The 4 top ones are the one we take to market and commercialize on. So Vagrant and Packer are open source and will always be. But let's start off with Terraform. Terraform is infrastructure as code for provisioning, compliance, and management of any cloud infrastructure or service. Vault, secrets management, the man of the hour, if you will, the product we'll be speaking about today. Consul, a multi-cloud service networking platform to connect and secure services across any runtime platform and public or private cloud. And then Nomad, which is a simple, flexible, and production-grade workload orchestrator. You may think of Kubernetes, and we think of Nomad. So the thing with security is that there's a lot of expectations, and all of our customers and customers around the world, they expect security to work like they do, meaning in their own networks, they trust nothing, they ensure everything is encrypted, and that regardless of who you are, your identity is key to identifying if you have access to any system, any device, or any application, regardless of where you are. The flip side of this is that there's an estimation of $6 trillion of estimated losses in 2021 in security breaches. And it's according to the cybersecurity venture cybercrime report, US CEOs place cybersecurity as their #1 business worry, even ahead of new competitors and a recession, very much like the one we're potentially heading into now. And the history tells the exact same thing. Over the last 10 years, 20 companies have experienced massive data breaches where the losses have been over $1 million. The good side of this is that now 90% of these companies came to us and use Vault to help them with their security challenges. So you may now ask the question, what is Vault? Vault is a software that provides the foundation for cloud security that leverages trusted sources of identity to keep secrets and application data secure in the cloud operating world. It's secrets management to centrally store and protect secrets across clouds and applications. It's data encryptions to keep application data across environments and workloads secure. And it's advanced data protection to secure workloads and data across the traditional systems that you may have, and all of the public clouds and infrastructure. We process over 2 trillion transactions on a monthly basis, and we have over 1 million new downloads of Vault open source every month. We are trusted by over 300 companies across the globe to use Vault Enterprise to help them keep their most precious data secure and available. You can see two of them down on the bottom right, which is Target, one of the largest retailers in Americas, and eBay, of course, the biggest e-commerce platform in the world. However, there are 2 other customers I would like to cover before I hand it over to Erkan, and that is Adobe. Everybody knows Adobe. They're a world leader in software, both for B2B and B2C, which means they sit on a massive amount of data that they need to secure, and they really run Vault at massive scale. They came to us about 3-4 years ago and started off a POC with Vault, and now they have over 130 teams and 30,000 secrets saved from manual management, which basically could be PowerPoint as Excel sheets, right? Turn that into Vault for dynamic secrets, meaning that you have that key rotation of who gets access to what. They have Vault running over in clusters spanning 5 continents and 14 regions, and over 150,000 applications and hosts managed with Vault. This results in 800 million monthly Vault transactions. The other company I want to speak about is Cruise, and Cruise is General Motors' autonomous vehicle driving division. They secure all of their vehicles with the help of Vault, and that's why I think it's a really interesting use case. So they use Vault to secure the vehicles and manage systems used to operate and restrict and permit access in real time. The automated vehicles get new certificate on a daily basis. And everything in this vehicle is ephemeral, meaning it's short-lived. So even if the system would get hacked, there is no access to other systems around that because of Vault. And if a car is reported stolen, all access and systems can be immediately revoked, effectively locking down any access to that vehicle and making it undrivable. And obviously this leads to the car sending and storing an incredible amount of data daily that they trust Vault to keep secure. With that, I would like to hand over to Erkan, who will walk through the technicalities of Vault. So Erkan, the scene is yours, my friend.
Thank you very much, Daniel. And let me see if I can get my screen up and sharing. You should be able to see my screen right now. Daniel, can you confirm?
Yes, we can. Thank you.
Excellent. So I guess in order for us to understand a little bit about Vault and what type of problem it solves, we really need to take a look at the shift and the mega trend of security in how we are moving from static infrastructure to dynamic infrastructure. Now, historically, when you used to manage infrastructure, there was always a requirement of putting some sort of perimeter which would enforce and address authorization to those resources based on IP address and based on protection using access control lists and other type of static technologies. And this trend, if you're looking at the world today, it's going more and more to a low trust network environment. Essentially, the trend that we're talking about is zero trust. And instead of enforcing the security on the IP layer, we're now looking at the identity level in order for us to provide security. So, historically, the thing most organizations have been doing is to put up some sort of wall. And in classical terms, that would be a firewall. You could have additional type of security enforcement capabilities meanwhile. But when you are moving to the cloud, especially the public clouds, there is no more firewalls for you to set up in terms of trying to manage a single application, because single applications can stretch across multiple public clouds. So now there's a big question on, is the network that I'm using on the public cloud secured, and how can I trust it? So this is one of the biggest challenges. So looking at the historical challenges, I guess the biggest comparison and best comparison is talking about the wall of Game of Thrones. And anybody who's seen Game of Thrones know that the wall was built with the purpose of creating a perimeter to protect the 7 kingdoms from the wildlings of the north and the dangers that lived across on the other side. And I'm not giving you any spoilers, but the threats that this wall is supposed to protect is a very old-fashioned way of thinking, and that is one of the biggest challenges with security as we look at historically. Now, so when you look at public cloud today, you might have different environments, but you might also have private clouds or on-prem environments which are still being used, and they don't seem to be going anywhere near soon. So the topologies for applications in your environment is getting more and more complex. So now all of a sudden, using the wall mechanisms is way too complex. It adds too much burden and it's too difficult to manage, which requires you to take a look at the problem from another point of view. And in comes Vault, Hashicorp's Vault product. And what Vault does in its very essence is that it manages secrets and authorization and authentication for those secrets. So more precisely, it could be anything from usernames and passwords. It could be database credentials, API tokens, as well as certificates, and some additional secrets that we can manage. And the question we aim to answer is the who, what, when, and where, because all of those are very interesting. And the biggest problem with most organizations today is that there is a secret sprawl. And the secret sprawl means that secrets are ending up anywhere and everywhere. So it could be that they end up in source code of certain environments. It could be that they end up in configuration management, environment variables, or VCSs, even checked into VCSs. So this type of secret sprawl is creating a big problem because there is no consistent way of working. And additional challenges to this type of secret sprawls are, first and foremost, who has accessed what secret and when. And on those secrets that are living more or less everywhere, has there been any periodic rotation, and how does this schedule look, and how does the history of that periodic rotation look like? And for certain applications, it might even be that the secrets are hard-coded into source code, which is creating additional problems, which we are going to be addressing later on in this presentation as well. And also, last but not least, I mean, the consistent way and standards of secrets management across an entire organization. How do you make sure that knowledge on how to manage secrets for application development and other type of security related secrets in your environment to be managed consistently? So when you take a look at Vault, you're essentially talking about a centralized way of managing your secrets. So no more sprawl. You will collect your secrets into a single centralized environment where your users and clients can then go and fetch that information. And in order for us to reach compliance, we also provide you with encryption in rest and transit. Also, making sure that not everybody can reach and access that information. There's access control capabilities and governance to give us traceability, as well as to enforcement regarding who can access what and where. And last but not least, if somebody has accessed any type of secret, it could be a person or a machine or other types of clients, how can we make sure that we can do correct type of incident reporting and gain the right type of visibility for that access? Now, taking a look at a typical app here, one of the biggest challenges about apps is that they are writing information to logs via standard out and maybe exported to Splunk. These type of logs end up having secrets in them many times. And it could also happen that you have some sort of exception that, following the traceback, that there are secrets in diagnostic outputs, as well as external monitoring systems that somehow get these secrets. And this type of outputs are very common in applications today, because when you really look at an app today, they are incredibly bad at keeping secrets. So that is a massive challenge with applications. So another thing that we can do with Vault here is that we can, in order for us to prevent that type of leakage, is that we can provide applications with dynamic secrets. And it could be ephemeral secrets that are very short-lived and allows you to essentially have a time to live on those secrets that are generated for that application, as well as uniquely creating new secrets based on usage requirements, so that they will be unique for each and every single usage. And also, the possibility of revoking secrets that have perhaps been leaked already. So now you have the revoke capability in order to make sure that you can secure your environment instead of going in and rewriting the source code of the application or whatever. An additional thing with applications is, a lot of applications also stores data in different type of environments, and it can be that they store data in a database, and many application applications today are trying to implement encryption in them, but making and creating encryption inside of an application is a complex process. So with this complexity comes the requirement of making things easier, but also securing compliance at the same time. So one of those things that we've also introduced is something called encryption as a service. So essentially what this means is that we will provide with a couple of high-level APIs using Vault, where for the application, we can make sure that unencrypted data is sent via Vault encryption as a service, and that can then be stored in any type of database that you're using, or stored within Vault in REST. And whenever those data are required to be refetched, we can use the same high-level APIs that the application can leverage in order for us to retrieve that information and use the decrypted data either in an application or for visibility purposes, regardless of what the application does as well. And taking a look at how Vault works, really, it's in its core, Vault, the Vault APIs expose a number of things that makes things very easy for you to work with. So first and foremost, we will give you a rich set of plugins from a identity-based point of perspective. So in order for you to fetch the required secrets, either as a machine, as a human being, or as a client installed somewhere, you will have to authenticate and make sure you tell Vault who you are. And many of you already have a lot of sources that you already trust. It could be your AWS environment. It could be your Kubernetes environment. It could be your Active Directory environment or other type of identity resources, which can be used in order for you to put an identity that goes to Vault API and says, hey, I am machine X or person B, and I would like to authenticate. And Vault can then take a look at that authentication source and make sure to see if there's a policy matching the availability of secrets on that. And the type of secrets that we support today, or rather, should I say, the type of secret engines that we support today, can range everywhere from a single key value store until database secrets. It could be SSH, it could be your PKI certificates. It could even be KMIP in order for you to be able to use encryption onto virtual machines. And also we have additional engines which allows for you to do advanced things such as transforming information such as social security numbers or credit card numbers without destroying the formatting, which are part of the enterprise feature set of the Vault. So Vault in its core has an authentication side and it has the secrets management side. And so any type of client, which could be a machine, user, or an application, can then go in there and using those authentication methods to retrieve the right type of secrets. And in addition to this, comes also the ability to do audit trails and getting the complete visibility of all type of historical events that are related to the Vault environment, is to say. So in summary, just to summarize what Vault really does, Vault's main purpose is essentially to eliminate secret sprawl. And we do that by using a centralized secrets management technology that allows for you to authenticate towards it with the sources that you trust. Now, sometimes you might not even trust the source. It could be an application that tries to authenticate. So we also have capabilities of secure introduction, even when the actual source of authentication might be a little bit more insecure than a trusted source. So we call that app role, which allows for us to do secure authentication and introduction without having to compromise the security of our vault. And obviously, an additional point which is very, very important is for organizations to be able to have a consistent workflow. Now, in order for you to make sure that there is the right way of working, both from a compliance, governance, but also the right type of working point of perspective, it's incredibly important to have a workflow that all developers or all operators or all developer operations personnel that are used to and accustomed to working with, which allows for you to have a documented and central workflow capability. And an additional thing is obviously to stay compliant at this time with HIPAA, it could be PCI, but also GDPR. So making encryption both in rest and transit are some of the key features of what Vault can provide you with. And those are incredibly crucial so that you can make sure that your environment is secured as to your compliance requirements. And I guess the last point that I would like to bring up is don't trust your apps to keep secrets. I mean, usually they are pretty bad at it. And the reason they are, it's because keeping secrets and creating completely encrypted applications within themselves is a complicated process. And a lot of applications get this very wrong. So by using high-level APIs and short-lived credentials and all of the best practices that comes with Vault, you can make sure that your application best practices are also using workflows that are easy to manage, easy to keep secure, and easy to foresee in the future as well. So Vault comes in different type of flavors, and I would say the most popular one is obviously the open source one, which are used by many people globally today. It's has many contributors and it's been around for a couple of years. But if you're looking for additional feature sets such as collaboration capabilities and being able to do governance and using data replication capabilities that we have put a lot of time to develop and for you guys to be able to use, guys and girls obviously to be able to use, there is also features such as namespaces, which allows for you to logically spread out the different type of organizations within a single vault so that you can have different logical units that different parts of the organizations can use. And I would also like to say that for larger organizations that have the requirement of central key management, it would be crucial to have a technology that is backed with vendor support. Because what happens if the secrets management technology is not working and you would need help in addressing those issues? So I think secrets management is probably one of those few areas where vendor support is incredibly important because of the criticality about using secrets and a consistent way of dealing with those in any type of organization. So if you would like to know more about this, I would urge you to reach out to either hello@hashicorp.com or erkan@hashicorp.com or daniel.axelsson@hashicorp.com. So we are available and we are covering the Nordic market primarily, but we can also stretch across other parts of Europe as well should you need any help and assistance. And with that, I guess it's time for me to round up and thank you all for attending. And we will, because this was a pre-recorded session, we will now start the Q&A and take your questions. So if there are any type of questions, we are ready to answer them right now. And with that said, I would like to thank you and close this recording session.
Thank you, Erkan, and thank you to all of you who listened in. And as we said, we are now live with a Q&A.